everyone. Welcome to the Wedding Honey Podcast, the podcast where we chat about weddings with a little bit of sweetness, because we all know weddings can be stressful. We're here to lighten that up. Follow along if you'd like to hear journeys about wedding photography, wedding photographers, and of course, the wedding day. We're also going to be interviewing wedding specialists, and we can't wait for you to follow along. The Wedding Honey Podcast is brought to you by Wedding Biz Kit, a photography business course created by Sounds Like Yellow Photography. After 4 years in university, knowing I wanted to start my own wedding photography business, I had no clue how to write a proper invoice or even professionally run my business. I dug deep and curated a brand that is creative just as much as it is professional. Now, 8 years in of running my own successful business, I am proud to say I have the course for you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Wedding Honey Podcast.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. We are on episode 8. It's flying. I say this every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. But it just goes so fast. I love it. I love things that happen and move and groove and everything. Anyways, that aside, I'm so excited to have the most special guest, someone who I hold very close to my heart, actually.
Oh, girl.
Tori Anderson of T Photography.
Thank you for having me.
Double photographer podcast.
Yes.
We're just doubling up.
I'm so excited.
I know.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so thrilled that you were open to coming and wanted to chat, and we're open to the topic that I suggested because
I have a lot to say.
Yes, I'm so happy about that. I knew you would too.
Yes.
So Tori is someone who, why I say she's so dear to my heart, because she's the sweetest human being. And also literally every time I see you, I feel like I've gained like knowledge and also like this like amazing glow from the universe.
I feel like when we met, we were like kindred spirits.
We totally like, so I just couldn't.
Our souls just clicked.
Yes.
So yeah, I love spending time with you.
I do too.
And we've been friends for many years now.
A really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember at Henry's we met.
Yep.
And I was like,
I was a customer first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just spent all our time together.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see how far you've come.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Well, it's really great. Thank you. I appreciate that because you've
amazing.
sort of been there from the inception of T photography.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you've been a mentor to me and someone I look up to so much. So
get out of here.
It's awesome.
You're so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so cool. I mean, I was saying to Tori before we started that the one thing with these podcasts, I get to go back and look at beautiful photos that everyone has on their Instagram or even their website, and it's really cool. One, to see the growth that you've had. I think you have an incredible talent, an incredible eye that you've had since the beginning.
Girl.
Of course, you're going to be harder on yourself, but
Yes.
it's so interesting to see photos, and I'm like, that's an amazing shot, and that was from
It is
years
funny
ago.
you say that, and we are our harshest critics, of
For
course.
sure.
I look back at like those beginning photos and I cringe a little, but also I don't get rid of them because it is great to reflect upon the growth that you had from the start.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
And it's so necessary to have that.
It is.
To like really see the growth, and then you can, when you're having a really bad day, you can be like, oh yeah,
Look how far I've come.
I'm slaying now. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's also cool to see like how you've evolved because
Totally.
you grow and learn so much, and that's why like today's topic is like so
It's
on point
perfect.
with that whole growth.
With everything that we do too, it's nice. I mean, every company grows, but I think we'll just share with you now. The topic is editing and Photoshop.
Yeah,
I guess that's like
Lightroom,
Yeah,
editing, sort
just
of like
editing.
creating your like the branded look of like your photography sort of.
Yes.
Like
yes, the branded look of your photography.
Yeah.
I just repeated what Tori said. I was like, I like that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean like editing really like sets the tone for like how your images are
Totally.
received by people. So
Yep.
yeah.
And I just thought it was so meant to be because one, we have very different styles, I would say, in terms of editing.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm so drawn to your work.
Thank you.
And it's really cool because, like, when I'm editing, I will try to, like, get influenced by some of your work. And I'm like, this is so cool. But I never pull it off as well as you do.
Girl, you were my number one influence
oh my
when
gosh.
I first started.
So sweet.
No, it's true. I think that's something that you and I face all the time in this industry. It's a very saturated industry, and you can be really heavily influenced by other people who, you know, are seemingly doing it better, more creatively. But like, if you stay sort of like on brand with like your look and your style and sort of like evolve within the walls of that and sort of, you know, pull inspiration from other people, you can grow so much creatively.
Oh, totally.
And it's so hard. I remember you and I having like a coffee probably a couple years ago, and I said to you, I don't know what my style is. And you were like, what? I do.
Yeah. I still
like,
remember that.
I don't even feel like I have like a style or a look. And you said, you totally do, girl.
You totally do.
You
and I
totally
still
do.
see it.
Yeah, and I do now, too.
Okay, good.
I do. I recognize it, and I can sort of like pinpoint what it is that like sort of makes me
who you are.
Yeah.
And why people come to you and why they book you and are just always overjoyed with not only the experience, but the incredible product you deliver.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, girl. So first of all, just tell us kind of like your journey within the wedding photography industry.
Yeah.
And what brought you to where you are today?
I have no idea how I got here.
Best answer, hands down. I don't know.
No, it's so funny. Sometimes I like pinch myself because I'm like, how did I end up doing what I love? Yeah. Because I think like, you know, I was tentative to get into the photography industry at all, let alone like the beast of the wedding industry, because that's very intimidating. It's you know, it's a big responsibility to like pull off someone's most special day.
For sure.
So when I said it was an accident, it really was. I like landed in this industry it's always been a hobby and a passion of mine.
For sure.
Being a photographer. I mean, just like you, like for as long as I can remember, I've always had a camera. I've been the one with the camera. Yeah. Taking photos of family, friends, events, this, that, and the other thing. And I was approached by a woman who actually saw me photographing in a field. I was like photographing a sunset, and she...
By yourself?
By myself.
Amazing.
Yep. Probably after a trip to Henry's where I was like stalking the Henry's employees, being like, how do I be better?
We were like, just be our friend. Because you're so awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, she approached me and asked if I was a professional photographer, and I totally fibbed. And I was like, yes.
Amazing.
Well,
Make it till you make it.
That's exactly the mantra. But I mean, I was pretty transparent. I said, I'm just really getting into it. Yeah. And she said, well, my daughter is looking for a wedding photographer and would be willing to give you a chance. So it really started with people taking a chance on me, and a lot of encouragement from family and friends and my support system saying like, you can do this. You're pretty good. Like, just jump in with both feet. So
amazing.
I would say for a couple of years, I was a little tentative to like really get into it, but now, no looking back.
No.
I love it.
It's like your complete lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
perfect.
now I feel like I belong here because I think, like you said, it was like fake it till you make it. And a lot of the time, there's a lot of self-doubt. You're like,
totally.
I don't have the credentials to be here.
Yeah.
But
there's a ton of people out there who are doing really well and are still thinking, I don't belong here.
Totally.
And it's
so much talent.
Yes.
So much talent.
Yeah, and it's that support group or that little voice that finally does say like, yes, jump in.
Yeah, take the leap.
Yeah, do something that like, take this wedding that is terrifying. Like, how scared were you?
Oh my
gosh, on that
the butterflies in my stomach. Yeah, the first year I think I did 2 or 3, and
amazing, and
they were all just people taking a chance on me.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for those beginning opportunities, and it's just really snowballed from there. And you know, the power of word of mouth and recommendation is just so huge. So it's huge. It started about 5 years ago, and it's just like taken off.
It's crazy.
So, yeah.
Like 5 years and now we're here.
And now I'm here.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you're obviously loving it.
Love it.
Loving it.
So much.
Yeah.
So much.
I can see, like, I mean, I remember when we first met, you definitely were I don't really think I have a style. And I was like,
Yeah.
I totally remember that. But now it's so cool because you are so much more confident.
That's totally, I mean, it's
in all aspects.
Yeah, you have to wear a lot of hats when you're a photographer.
Tons.
And I think prior to getting into the industry, I thought it was just like, oh, well, I'll just take the photo.
Right.
But no, it's a lot of people skills and business skills and
Yeah.
interpersonal skills, and
which I think
confidence
you
is a
had.
huge part of it. Yeah, but
I think you had
you
a lot of
kinda-
them. You maybe like tighten them up a little
yeah,
bit.
I mean, you just learn along the way a lot.
Right.
And you're constantly learning. Like,
Yep.
there's no ceiling to the learning process of,
So
like,
true.
of anything really in life. But, yeah.
So wild.
Yeah.
It's so cool to hear that, though.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, okay, so then what would, like, your day-to-day look like now?
Now, it kind of depends on where I'm at with like, wedding season. Right now, like, we're kind of entering into the start of wedding season. So right now is a lot of, like, email prep and
Huge.
meeting new clients, like new inquiries.
For 2020.
For 2020.
Crazy.
Even.
Yeah.
Like, constantly staying on top of bookings and emails.
That, like, professional side.
Yeah, the
or
professional
admin. This is, like, a lot of admin
It is,
time.
yeah. Like, the quieter months, like, even just in the winter months, was all, like, wrapping up, editing, taking personal time, because that's
Huge.
really when you sort of reboot and sort of, like, take stock of the whole year and
Right.
sort of reset your goals. And then, yeah, day to day, moving into the summer, it's just a lot of, like, shoots, planning,
Yes.
meeting with clients, creating ideas, and, like,
Just all of
honestly
it.
just shooting, like, getting out, like,
just doing
busy
all of
season.
the,
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. And
Yeah.
like you said, you do wear a lot of different hats,
You
but
do.
like you said, it comes with time. Like, you learn and you're like, oh, I can do this. I can do this email and the 800 more that will come after it.
Yeah, and also balance, like, your personal life.
That's
and
huge. Actually, that's a really good point. I think that you do a really good job of balancing. You have
Thanks.
a really beautiful family.
Thank
And you're very close with your
Yes.
family, and I think it's really special how well you pull it off with just
Thank you.
doing family events, but also staying very active within the
Yeah,
industry.
I mean, I prioritize my family and friendships, of course, but, like, you're also building your business, and
Totally.
you have to also maintain your relevance in the industry.
Yeah.
So you do sort of have to take on the responsibility of still having a presence, like, in social media and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So that's also, like, really a part of the day-to-day is, like, keeping your voice, like,
Constant.
being seen. It's kind of like the part of it that I don't love, because I don't
Yeah.
love being on social media all of the time. But if you're smart about it, you can sort of, like, set time aside every day and, like, organize it so it's quick.
Yeah.
You get it done.
That's what I mean. I mean, I know that you will be with your sisters, but I'll see
Yeah.
your posts and I'm like, okay, yes, Tori's just reminded me. Let's write it down. Let's do a post right now. Like,
Yeah.
you do a really good job of that.
Well, I think for us, like, the biggest thing is connecting with our
Totally. It's a
clients and with
huge-
our audience and potential future clients.
Right.
So, just, like, constantly putting out content and connecting with them
Yeah.
in many different ways. So,
Right.
yeah,
In all of the different ways.
all of the ways.
Yeah. But you do a great job of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, just keep doing
I
what you're
appreciate
doing.
That. You are also slaying at that.
Thanks, girl.
All the time.
Some
You-
days.
You take on so many projects. It blows my mind.
I just love all the projects.
I know. You're just so creative.
Let's just keep complimenting each other. I feel
We
like
could
that's
be here all
actually
day.
what we do, though. Like,
It
whenever
is.
we sit, we're like, okay, so have to tell you 3 things that I loved of yours. Like, just constant.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into the topic of editing. So with with the industry that we are in,
Yeah.
editing is a major part of what we do. Of course, the meeting the clients we love, the photographing the day we adore,
Yes.
but the editing. What are your thoughts on editing as a whole?
Editing is the underbelly of photography.
I love it.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. I mean, like I was saying before, you think as a photographer it'll just be behind the lens,
Totally.
creating
Having
the
the
moment.
best time. Yeah.
But no, the reality is it is 8 to 10 hours a day in front of a screen.
And you don't think, you're like, oh no, I can get this done.
Yeah, no big deal.
10 hours later, you're like, I
yeah.
haven't moved.
I haven't gone to the bathroom.
Yeah. I've literally had 1 cup of water today.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah, it is the underbelly of it, but it is such an essential part to building your brand and turnover, so you can return those photos to clients
as quickly as possible.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn.
A lot. And I'm sure even when I started to what I'm doing now is different, and I'm sure with you, same thing. You find a workflow. That's the biggest thing, is the dream workflow.
Yeah.
And you just kind of like put that on repeat, but of course every wedding is still different.
Totally.
So you want to make sure you pay attention to all of the details. Like, I think that's why Tori and myself both love to do our own editing, and because you want to see certain things that you remember from the day. You want to make sure that those are still included.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work.
It's a lot. It is. And if you're someone who maybe lacks patience, it might not be for you.
Maybe not.
But luckily, I think we both harness a lot of patience.
We do.
And it's I think, like, every time I start a project, it's the crossing the finish line, that the light at the end of the tunnel that keeps you going. And you're like, I'm going to get through this.
Yeah. And knowing that your customers, your clients are, like, you can just see them so happy.
And they're so, they're anticipating the completed project, and you just want to deliver.
Totally.
So, and I also, like, I love sort of like meticulous kind of little projects. So to me, editing is kind of like fun. That's super dorky, but it is kind of fun. There are times where, like, it's exhausting,
and you're just like, I just want to get this to them. I'm so excited for them to see it, and that like kind of pushes you to be like, I'll hurry, but
the overall process is fun. It's very rewarding. Once you get it
I think for me personally, it's more rewarding than fun.
Yeah.
But hey, if you say it's fun,
I crank the tunes.
Yes.
And I sometimes will, like, have a dual screen going, a little Netflix.
You have to. It's almost like even when I'm getting my eyes checked, they're like, put something, like, if you're editing, put something on, like, further away, because it's really good for your eyes to then be not just looking, because you look at your screen for so long, and I'll wake up at like 4 a.m. and I'm like, now I want to edit right now. So you sit from that time till who knows when.
I know.
Because you just want to deliver.
Yeah, it's the late night date editing.
It's the late night date. Don't need anything else, really.
No.
Just that.
Yeah.
So yes, it is. There's definitely a bonus to it. We do get to create our own workspace, and I know you've got a great workspace, as do I. So we do get to create that for ourselves, and we get to edit in that.
Yeah, it is nice to sort of, I know you and I will work from home or, like, go to a coffee shop or something, which is really nice. But you also have to be diligent and be on yourself, because you're working for yourself.
Yeah,
so
you gotta get it done.
None
of this, like, other tab of Zara ordering pretty dresses. No. You just, like, get it done.
You gotta have the discipline.
Totally. To just go and do it. Yeah,
yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So in terms of, like, tools and maybe, like, your workflow or a process, what do you find works best for you?
Oh man, there's so much. I think Lightroom is actually what I use
Same.
to edit all of my collections.
Yep.
And first getting into Lightroom, I would just say YouTube is your best friend.
YouTube every single thing you have to do.
Everything.
It's the best because you then know what everything does.
Yeah.
And that's how you really should learn a program.
Well, it's such a cool program because there are so many shortcuts and so many amazing, like, endless possibilities that are, like, a lot of the time I feel like I'm not even tapping into, like, half of what I'm, like, capable of doing with the program.
Yeah.
But just, like, don't be afraid of constantly, like, learning and being like, how can I improve my workflow? So, like, the best way to approach it is learning how to be, like, the most efficient. So I started with Lightroom and have just sort of, like, been trying to master understanding it.
Brilliant.
I import all my images into there and cull through there.
Yep.
So pull out images that I'm not happy with, and then I also create, like, a rating system for images that I want to share with my clients right away.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
Lightroom has all these really cool systems where you can, like, rate things based on, like, a 1 to 5 star scale, or you can color code things.
Totally.
And, like,
so are you a number?
I'm a number girl.
I'm a color person.
But I also do colors.
Yeah. That is also a bonus of Lightroom.
Yeah.
You can do all of these things.
When I'm blogging, I will give 5 stars to 5-star blog images. And I color code for different parts of a wedding day. So like the ceremony will be yellow. The reception will be pink.
I did not know you did that.
Yeah, I do.
That's really cool.
Because then when I export, I share images online and also with a USB, but I export to this awesome website called PixieSet.
Yep.
And you can organize your images in different tabs. So that's how I stay organized, just based on the color code.
That's brilliant.
Easy.
So easy. It's so funny because, yeah, everyone kind of does, like, some people will be like, I don't color code at all. I only use number-based.
I would be so overwhelmed by that. I need, like, give me the most amount of photos, pictures, like, cues, prompts,
tags. Yeah, totally.
Help me.
And Lightroom is really great for that.
Yeah.
I would say for anybody who's starting, definitely start with Lightroom and don't even look anywhere else.
I wouldn't.
No.
I'd never recommend anything outside of that. Not to say that, there are other fantastic programs, because certainly there are, like, but, yeah, I don't really do any, like, major altering to photos. Like, I'm not going to, like, crop
go into
something
Photoshop
that doesn't exist there. Or
right.
Yeah, I don't often go into other programs because I just try to really keep it to the basics. I want to keep images as raw as I can.
I love that.
While enhancing them with edits.
Yes, and like color and contrast.
Yeah, totally.
Like you don't really bring that in like any type of I want to say, what's it called, like morphing?
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't
do
really,
any morphing.
Yeah, I don't want to do any like extreme alterations.
Yes, I like that word much better. Morphing sounds like Power Rangers. So you don't do anything like that.
Yeah, no, I like to strip it down to the basics.
And I think there are some people, I don't know about weddings per se, that will work in Photoshop and then do the bridge, like Adobe Bridge. Because that's a place that you can upload, like bring in all your photos and cull, I'll say, which is like going through the images. But I don't know if I can bring in like, I mean, you and I shoot big days as many wedding photographers. Yeah, thousands.
It's just, I feel like you have to, I don't want to say like cut corners where you can, but
save time.
Like become efficient. And if I was bouncing around in a whole bunch of different programs, who knows? Maybe I'm missing out on something. But
I don't think so.
I'll just stick to this.
Stick to one. And like we were just talking about our computers, like we both have Macs, but I don't want to use 3 programs at once.
No.
The Mac will hate me.
It will overheat and explode.
Yes,
probably.
It will explode. So we're going to steer away from that. So I would suggest as well Lightroom, and I'm glad that you're using the same.
Yeah, that's great. Because you can sort of, and as far as like tips and tricks,
is there anything that you're like, I love, I mean, other than the tagging and knowing how you color code is
you know what? I wish that I had known a few things earlier on in the game. I feel like I'm still discovering like new great tips, but one of the things that I think has enhanced my edits the most is the color sliders. Is that what they're called?
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so.
The sliders. Actually, why don't we pull up Lightroom and just
Love it.
double check? Yeah, it's just this amazing way to like enhance your images using highlights and shadows.
Yes.
And if I had known about that like years ago, I would have been, a lot more experimental, but
that's okay.
I found that it really enhances. And then also creating presets for your brushes and like your your brushes, so like for getting rid of blemishes, for whitening teeth, this, that, and the other thing. Like,
you can do all of that.
If you have it and you don't have to sort of go in and dial in all the brushes every single time, it makes you a lot more efficient.
So much quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just sort of like creating a whole bunch of ready to go brushes, presets, this, that, and the other thing. Tools.
That you, like, for tea photography, these work.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because you'll be doing something maybe sounds like yellow, we'll be doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
So I can create those. That's what goes so great with.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, with Lightroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, little things. I mean, like you said, I will scroll down and I'll be like, this is new. I've never even seen this drop down.
Yeah, what is that?
And then of course, like, yes, again, YouTube is your best friend.
Yeah.
And you just say like, what is this? And there's like 1,000 people talking about it. And I'm like, oh, I'm a little late on the bandwagon.
I know. I feel that way all the time. I'm like, well,
Didn't know,
Keep up.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think little things like that are always going to be popping up. I mean, I think they're constantly working on Adobe is always working on programs like this.
For sure.
So we are just confirming for you the
the brushes and what is it? Split toning.
Split toning.
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I love that because I really like my shadows in my images to be warm.
Yeah.
So I'll sort of like move the slider over to like a warm, almost like green, but more of like a orange kind of warm glow.
And what is it that you use in terms of like camera gear? You are a Canon shooter.
Canon,
Yes, yeah.
I'm a Canon shooter.
Awesome. Okay, so just because when you were talking about the split toning with the warmer shadows, Canon tends to lean on the cooler side. I think. Yeah. This is what I've just noticed.
Yeah.
So it's cool that you can then go in and still add those without having to like. I don't think all your photos look cool. Like,
no,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like that's just what Canon tends to lean, whereas Nikon tends a little bit to the warmer side. So I might have to go down and maybe cool it off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just so interesting.
I know. There's just endless possibilities.
I mean, you and I could just talk about all the nerdy things we could do too.
We could really nerd out. But that would be kind of boring.
I know, like you might just, if you're listening, you might be like, hey, okay, don't know
cool,
what they're
move
talking
on.
about. Yeah. What else can we talk about? But that's great. I think those little tips and tricks do help. Yeah. Definitely in terms of timeline, but even just for your sanity to be like, I can do this a lot faster.
Yeah. And actually learning to another trick was like learning to what's it called? You sort of render the photos.
Yes.
Yeah. So like go on YouTube.
Importing?
I won't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I won't go into detail, but like if you YouTube how to sort of like render the photos so that you can edit more quickly, because the files are so huge.
Yes.
It changes your entire world. Yeah.
Yeah. Your workflow will like double in speed.
100%.
Like if you do it while you go to sleep. I just use like a
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah. Pop it on. They'll import. They take a lot longer, but
then your editing flow is so much faster.
Exactly. Then that image isn't blurry while you're waiting for it to load. It's just going to be completely
I wish I knew that years ago.
Yeah, I know. It's these little things. And it's funny because a lot of photographers we don't just say like, oh, do you render your photos?
I know. And that's another thing I was going to say is talk to your peers.
Huge.
Ask them what tips and tricks they've learned. Yeah. Like, that's a huge thing for me. I have a couple of really great friends in the industry who I constantly like to like bounce ideas off of and just say like, what are you doing that works?
Yeah. Like what? Why? How can I speed up? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah. And maybe I have something to offer you that you didn't know.
And you for sure will.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee someone's doing something that you don't know about.
Oh yeah.
And why not learn about it?
Exactly.
Amazing.
Share the knowledge.
Please, and thank you. That's, again, I really like to bring up the community over competition. Like
absolutely.
within your community. Yeah. That's a huge part of it. And I know there's tons of photographers right in Hamilton, Ontario, where we are. And I would love to just hang out and be like, tell me what your process is. Like, what a
Me
weird
too.
Nerd, right?
I would love to go on just like a photographer date,
totally.
just a friend date. Like tell me all about your camera.
What is your workflow? I cannot wait to hear about this,
because it's intimidating sometimes to approach someone who you really admire.
For sure,
but you could learn so much. So
and it's
just
nice
ask the question
to talk about those things. Like that person has worked on that workflow and they're probably very proud of it. Yeah. So I'm sure they'll be like, no problem, let's talk.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
Precisely.
I love that. So you were talking about presets for brushes.
Yes.
But what about presets in general?
Yeah.
What is a preset?
Okay. So preset is sort of like a color graded, what do you call it? Like a cast, I guess, that you put over your image.
Yeah, like an edit.
Yeah, it's an edit that's sort of like you've pre-recorded.
Yes,
and you
pre-recorded,
can apply it to your image, and they are fantastic.
Yep.
I probably would be editing weddings from like 2 years ago if I didn't have presets created. It just really speeds up the efficiency.
Again, yeah,
totally.
And now presets that you've created.
Yeah. Well, there are so many presets like available to you at your fingertips because
so many.
these like phenomenal photographers that I love and follow, and really admire the way that they edit their images. It's very trendy now to sort of like have your presets available to others.
Yes.
And I have no problem with that, like with people wanting to download those presets. What I would encourage people to do is to sort of tweak them to be more personalized to like
Brilliant.
your style
Yes.
and your brand.
You just nailed my whole thoughts on presets.
Yeah, like
you just said.
I have no problem with it at all. I
Same.
think you need a starting point. You need a baseline.
Totally. It's because some people don't know where to start, and
Yeah.
I want that look, but
how do I? And it is very difficult to create your own preset starting from nothing.
bare
in Lightroom.
minimum. Yes.
Yeah.
Like
So,
I do have a few of my. I use a lot of my own, but
yeah.
it's so nice to get a preset and be like, oh, I'm gonna change it a little bit,
Yeah.
and then save that, and that's
that's
your style of that preset.
100%. Yeah. It's funny. Like I did that way in the beginning. I downloaded a couple that I was a fan of, and you end up manipulating it so much and tweaking it to your preference that
Right.
by the time you've sort of finished it to your liking, it doesn't even resemble what it first started out
Right.
as.
But
And
it's cool because you obviously liked that. You have felt
Yeah.
a connection to that. So now it's even more of your work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
you know, if you can apply that to an entire collection, you're laughing.
Totally.
Like you're moving
Yep.
fast.
Quick. And
yeah.
it looks a lot more consistent, which
It
is
more
really
consistent.
nice.
Yeah, that's something I struggled with in the beginning. I didn't want to get on that bandwagon because I was like hesitant. I'm like,
Oh,
I don't want to. I don't want to, have my work look like I'm copying anyone.
Right.
But if you're just being, if you're being influenced by someone and you can sort of like make it into your own
Mm-hmm.
and put your own flavor on it, then
That's the
why
dream.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I think those photographers that release those presets feel as well, that they're like, people resonate with my work.
Mm-hmm.
So take this, because someone who, like, we all love photographers maybe in the UK or
Yeah.
maybe in LA, and it's their lighting conditions are going to be a little bit different, so their settings are going to
Yeah.
be a lot different, so their preset on their photos are obviously going to look different.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
when you bring it back into like our world here,
Southern Ontario.
gotta love it.
You're like, oh, those Nebraska photos in the cornfields, it's not as warm here and nice. And
Yeah, like we have a lot of snow and ice and gray right now.
yeah, so you do have to
So,
tweak it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's such a nice, I love that you said that, because there are some people that love presets, but they don't know really how to use them, because you don't, like, okay, I'm applying this, and it doesn't look like this amazing photographer took it. It's like, well, you got to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, it
So that's a
often
really good point.
doesn't translate like directly from a preset to your image.
For sure.
You really should tweak it and sort of like experiment.
Agreed.
Find what you love.
Yeah, and then from there, you can use that preset going forward, because for the most part, your settings, or like the way you shoot, will be very similar.
Yeah.
And you can use those again and again.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm glad you love them.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
And I guess I already asked this, other photographer presets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love them.
I think they're great.
Amazing.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I feel like every like 6 months to a year, I sort of take a departure from like what my editing style was, and I like to evolve it a little bit.
Totally.
Just sort of like into, honestly, you kind of have to like stay current with what's going on,
do.
but you don't want to look like everybody else. So
It's like you're just adding a new layer.
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like sort of enhancing and growing from where you were. Like
Totally.
my images now don't even resemble what they used to.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But
But they've grown, and they've
Yeah.
grown with you, like as a company, as a brand.
yes.
So it's cool to see that too as well.
Yeah. For sure.
In terms of, we kind of touched on it with photoshopping, you don't do this, but have you ever had a client or even a friend ask you to Photoshop like their insecurities out of that photo?
Yeah. This is definitely like a delicate subject.
Very.
Yeah. I'm pretty transparent about this with my clients. Like if it does come up in those like initial meetings, where they say like, I'm really self-conscious about this or that, I have no problem editing out like a blemish. If You wake up on the morning of your wedding with like a giant zit on your forehead.
Got you, girl.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
I will tediously remove that zit from every photo.
I am on board with that.
I have no problem with that. That's totally okay. And I don't even need a client to like ask me to do that. Right. That's part and parcel with like being, you know, a meticulous and attentive photographer.
Brilliant.
In your editing. Teeth whitening is something that people ask for.
Right.
And I have no problem doing that. I've created a really easy go-to brush to do that.
Perfect.
When people ask about insecurities, like I say to them, like I'm not gonna alter the way you look.
Good. Yeah.
I don't even have the skill set to make someone like look taller or thinner. I wouldn't even know how to do that, but
it's a lot of work.
But I really try to like instill the confidence in them that like they're beautiful and amazing, and I don't want you to not really recognize yourself.
Yes.
You are you, and if it's a wedding, your partner is marrying you because
of the way you look right now.
And I know that doesn't, you know, negate insecurities.
Totally. Well said.
But I'm just pretty upfront. I'll just say like you know, there's a couple tweaks I'll do here and there, but I really don't want to ever alter the way someone looks.
Yes.
Because you're just great the way you are.
Yeah. And it is kind of like heartbreaking when they ask, because you're like, you are so beautiful. And this day those people are usually like just beaming.
Yes.
So they're even that much more gorgeous, which you didn't think was possible. And they will still find those insecurities in the photo. But for the most part, I mean, we can do, if we know those insecurities beforehand, we can do everything we can as the photographer to pose them in a way that they won't look and be like, I look so awful in this.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to think that.
No.
But for them to ask to take something away that you can't help, it's part of who they are. Yeah. I agree. I think that's a lot.
Yeah, you shouldn't be altering the way someone looks. I actually did have one groom once that had a big scratch on his face.
Oh no, from like a cat?
I think it might have been a dog.
Okay.
Yeah. And I actually got rid of it in every single image because it was tedious, but I didn't want the couple actually asked me.
Yeah.
But I certainly didn't want him looking back at his images and going, "Oh, that was a great, amazing, beautiful day, but darn it, that scratch on my face."
Right? And that's
an easy thing for me to be able to fix.
For sure.
But I'm not going to like really go overboard with like wrinkles or
oh my gosh, the wrinkles I want to leave. I love the wrinkles.
Those are love lines. Yeah, those are laugh lines.
I know. I feel like if it's something that has happened, like a zit or a scratch, like that dog just scratched you, it didn't mean that's how you look always.
No.
You probably never look like this. It just happened to be that way. So that's something that you can change.
Yeah.
So
even when people ask me about tattoos, I'm really tentative.
I know.
When people are like, I really don't want this tattoo shown, I'm like, but it's your body.
Yeah. But you did it.
Yeah.
And it's still who you are. Like you wouldn't want to take that away. So I like the way, and I'm sure people have different opinions too about editing and like what they will and will not do. But I mean, I'm sure we've all had can you make me 20 pounds lighter?
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't need it.
No.
But also like,
no, I cannot.
No. Like, I'd be doing that to all of my photos, my own photos. I'd be like, yeah. But then people would see me and be like, what?
You don't look like,
you
didn't look like that.
Yeah.
That's not you.
You want like that day of whoever's wedding it is, you want it to be an example of what's going on in your actual life.
Exactly.
So
that is the whole beauty of lifestyle photography. You're capturing someone's moment in real life.
Yeah.
So, not gonna change.
No. You're beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. And handsome.
Yeah.
And perfect.
And that's your job too, is to like instill confidence in your clients.
100%.
Build that relationship of trust.
Yeah.
So,
which is fantastic to be able to do that for someone.
Yes.
Like what an honor.
It's a gift. Yeah. It's like special when they trust you and feel comfortable and confident. Yeah.
Thank goodness. So just one more question on the editing front.
Yeah.
So we heard a little bit about your workflow. Now, does that change when it comes to different sessions, like a wedding? Like what types of photography do you do? Let's start there.
Yeah. So I would say that I'm sort of moving into like specializing in weddings, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, weddings and lifestyle photography. So lifestyle is really just like an umbrella. It's a collection of like real life events just being captured in real time. So like family shoots, engagements, special events in life. Mm-hmm. I've also dabbled in like boudoir and a little bit of commercial work. Yeah. Headshots, but mostly my focus is on like portraiture.
Yes.
So as far as editing, and like how I approach, the beast is always weddings.
Yes.
There's that like turnaround time is a big chunk.
Which makes sense.
Makes sense. And that's when I go really ham with the color coding.
The nerdy side of you really comes out. Yeah.
The nerdy side, totally. But yeah, other shoots that aren't as beastly. I'm quicker with the turnaround time for sure.
Totally.
And I don't know, like the approach. I think I approach them in an editing sense all in the same way. The main thing for me is to just always be consistent with the way that the images are looking, with the edits and presets.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I really try and approach everything the same way, I would say, for the most part. Yeah. That my body of work is consistent.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because you really want people to see, if they've seen your weddings, like wedding work, they'll say, oh, let's just book her for a family session.
They're hiring you based on what they know.
Exactly.
And if you deliver something different, then they're not getting what they wanted.
Right.
So, yeah, I try to be pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you should.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to, like, every time we talk, we should talk about our workflow.
We should.
And be like, okay, what's new?
I know. Yeah.
I like this.
And I'm probably not even thinking of like half the stuff I
do. Yeah. Where it's like, oh my God, that's changed my world.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So in terms of wedding photography, what is maybe one of your favorite parts of being part of like a couple's wedding story?
Oh man, I could say 101 things. But I think sort of like what I was touching on before, like building the relationship with the client. Yeah. I get very invested in my wedding clients, and I really I want to know everything there is to know about your love story so that I can make sure to the best of my ability I'm capturing your love and translating it onto film to the best of my ability.
For sure.
And in order for me to do that the most successfully, is to really develop that relationship and trust and confidence from photographer to client.
Right.
So I think, building the relationship and then the anticipation of them receiving the photos when it's all said and done is just like, it's the biggest rush and the biggest payoff to me is being able to deliver the memories of someone's favorite day.
Right.
Or like the day they got to marry the love of their life. Yeah. When I get to give them those memories, there's nothing better than that. There's like no sum of money that can beat that feeling.
I always think that. I'm like, this is worth it.
Totally.
Everything is worth it.
Yes.
For that moment. And you, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're quite boutique where you you deliver the online gallery.
Yeah.
But you also deliver the USB. You'll sit down with your couples.
Yeah, I do.
And deliver that.
I do. I really like that.
That's the best part.
It's sort of like a nice bookend to the whole process because you start off getting to know each other. And then by the end, you're hugging and you're crying.
I know. And you have them in your phone. And it's just so nice.
It's so great. And the best ever is when you get a call or an email from them and they're like, we're expecting. Or, the love story continues. It's sort of like that is also really special. I know you've experienced that a ton.
Yeah. It's the best.
Because you've built such a client base. But yeah, it's so special too. And especially when you get referrals from a bride's sister or something who's then getting married. I love that.
Because then you feel like, maybe I'm jumping too much, but jumping too far into it, but I'm like, I'm part of the family. Or I just wish I am.
Oh, me too.
And I'm like, oh my God, I get to be here 2 times.
Totally.
So it'll be like shower, wedding, and then a baby comes and you're like, I have seen your parents more than my own.
Yes,
It's
I know.
amazing.
It's wild. But then I think it makes you a better photographer.
Agreed.
Because you've built those relationships, and your approach comes from a place of investment. You're really invested in their story and
for sure
who they are as a person,
and who their parents are, and that their dad will definitely cry. So make sure you're
on it.
Like I love knowing those types of things. So when there is a family-based referral, it's so awesome. You can be like, I know their dad is just gonna be a mess. So you're always watching him.
Yes.
To get those moments. So I think that's a really special connection.
For sure.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you love the delivery so much.
I do, yeah. I mean, I get like giddy when I'm in like the final, like about to cross the finish line of like editing an entire collection. I'm like on a high. It's just, it's funny. I don't care if it's like 3 a.m. I'm not going to bed until I'm done because I'm like, I just can't wait.
I know sometimes I'll preemptively like write the email because I'm so excited, and then I'll like save it till I'm like, it's exporting, everything is good.
Yes.
Then I'm like, they're done. It's just a nice feeling too.
It is.
Like you said, that's kind of the reward at the end.
Yeah.
Is to have these images that you now know are going to be.
And it's mutually gratifying. It's great for the client, of course.
For sure.
And you feel great that you've completed another project that you're proud of.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you gone into people's houses and seen your work up?
Yeah. That's also mind-blowing.
So weird.
And so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love people that print your photos. Actually, notice that in your house. I love that you print your images. It's so important.
So important.
We're going to all this trouble to edit.
So true.
But
they're ready to be printed.
You put so much time and effort into carefully selecting all of the vendors for your most special day.
Right.
Print the photos so that you
show it off.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's so nice for us to then, maybe you've taken a picture of it and you sent it to us. Mm-hmm. It is like the most rewarding.
It is.
To see that picture in a frame, you're like, whoa.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Like, it's like an art gallery now.
Yeah.
Because your house is an art gallery, obviously. That's so nice.
Exactly.
What a really special part. Yeah. It's so cool that we can talk about this and be like,
I know.
yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, it's so great.
So I know, right? We're lucky. When, I ask everyone this, but when do you think when are you booked in the planning process for a couple?
It's usually pretty early on. Mm-hmm. I would say it's funny, like it does vary sometimes, but I think if you really want to secure the vendor of your choice, the photographer of your choice, you kind of have to get on it pretty quickly. Like, I think people typically want to book their venue and photographer sort of off the bat.
I think so.
But it's funny, I feel like I've been seeing shorter engagements lately.
Interesting.
I don't know if you have, but I've been seeing like under 2 years, like quite a bit, even a year and a half and under.
Yeah.
So I would say it's smart to book your photographer at least like a year in advance.
I'd say agreed.
And it's usually one of the things you want to secure early on in wedding planning.
Big time, because it really sets the tone for your day as well. You spend a lot of time with both of us.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of know who that person's going to be.
Yeah.
And you want them to be there because it's really important.
It is, yeah. I would even recommend like booking out like a year and a half if you can.
Year and a half would be ideal.
Yeah, if it's available to you, because our dates book up pretty quick.
Do. Although I will say, I do love when someone's like, we're getting married in 6 months. And I'm like, I'm available. Have that date. It's like the most special. I'm like,
yeah, I love that too.
It's the best feeling.
It is.
You're like, this is meant to be. It's kismet. And you're
totally.
Like, yeah. I do love those short engagements, but the long term, I feel like we get to know the couple a lot more.
Yes. And,
which I like.
You really get to plan out like a really special engagement shoot.
Yeah. And pick the season you really want.
Exactly. Yeah. You have a lot more sort of, a lot more options.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. And we get to chat a little bit more. Maybe we'll go for coffee twice. And like, it's just nice to really understand who they are on our side of things.
Yeah.
Because then we can capture them the best.
Totally.
In the best way we can. Yeah.
Yes.
So that makes sense. Earlier, I think everyone says earlier is better.
It is.
As soon as you kind of feel that pull and say, I'm really drawn to this photographer,
I would say,
reach out.
Honestly, like 80% of my clients who book me are like freshly engaged.
Right, which is so
which
cute.
is so cute.
Yeah.
I love it so much. One of my like favorite clients ever, who's the sweetest ever, she actually emailed me while she was on a trip, and she'd been proposed to, and then she got on a flight and went to Ireland, and she emailed me from Ireland, and I was like, this is the best.
That's
ever.
amazing.
She's like, I just got engaged.
You're like, the ring is just
on my finger, but like, I know I want to pick you, and that's so flattering and so exciting.
Oh my gosh, the biggest compliment.
The sooner the better.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Get in touch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is something that keeps you creative and growing, not only maybe your business, but yourself? Because as photographers, we're a major part of that business.
Yeah.
So on both sides, professionally and personally.
Yeah. I think it's such a saturated industry, and there are so many incredibly creatively talented people.
Totally.
And it's sometimes hard to like, keep up with being innovative and creative. So I honestly think it's really important to carve out time for yourself and like make it a priority to take time off to recollect your thoughts and sort of take perspective of, for me, it's like in the downtime season, sort of like November to March-ish. There might be a wedding or two somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And just sort of like take stock of the whole year, look at the growth you've had over the year, set new goals, like smaller goals, like even little ones as, I want to book 2 more weddings this year than last year.
Right.
But I think it's, we do run the risk of burnout in this industry.
Yes.
So in order to maintain your creativity and innovation, it's really important to, I think, take time for yourself.
That's really,
and sort of so that you can return with fresh eyes and fresh ideas and be inspired. Like for me in the downtime, I like to go on a trip, meet new people, and photograph my family. Yeah. Because I sometimes get mad at myself for not picking up my camera more, because you almost associate it with like, oh, that's my job. That's what I do for work. Yeah. And I actually want to like push myself more to pick it up. And I always find that shooting my family like grounds my perspective almost.
Oh my
like,
gosh, that's so sweet.
I don't know. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's also rewarding in that sense too, because you get to give those pictures to them.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's so interesting that you say that, because there's a photographer in the area and they're like always shooting, and I'm like, they're just starting out, and
I don't know how they do it.
I know. I'm like, but when we started, we were like that.
It's true.
All of the time. Even if you're like, I don't have a shoot this weekend. Yeah. I'm like, okay, it's nice. I can take time off with
I couldn't say no to projects. I would say
totally. Prior
to like 2 years ago, I said yes to everything.
Which is great.
It was.
That's how you grow.
Yeah, that's how you grow. And you do sort of have to invest that time when you're first building a business. Yes. But it's also really important to take care of yourself. Yes. So that you can be 100% for your clients.
Right.
And be on.
That's so true. Oh, well said. But then there's some days where I'm like, I should just go out and find a couple to photograph.
I know. Yeah.
Like sometimes I get the urge, like so in Canada, we usually get winter till like February, but we've had it basically till like last week.
April?
Yeah. We don't love it, but sometimes when we get those random beautiful snows where there's nothing else, like none of this gray, gross, dirty snow, I'm like, who can I ask?
I know.
And but then we have, of course, something booked, because you're like, let's fill it with family time or just me time. And I'm like, I should be out photographing something.
But I think it's so important to take that time for yourself.
You're right.
Because then you're allowing your creative juices to sort of like regather.
Yeah.
Almost.
Like marinade.
Yes.
Okay, that makes me feel better. Because some days I'm like, I need to be out shooting.
That's how I feel too, but you can't, because I don't know, like I can be really hard on myself sometimes and think, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I should book a creative, or I should do this or that. And I do that sometimes. Yeah. And those are incredibly rewarding and so much fun. And I love working with other talented people. But it's important to take care of yourself. And
I think that's so great that you keep that top for now.
Yeah.
Because I think during wedding season, us as like our own personal,
we come last.
As our own persons, we put ourselves number 10 on the list.
Well, we do, and that's sort of why I mentioned that, because high season, which I feel like it used to be just a couple of months, and now high season feels like it's like just 6 months long.
Sometimes 7, 8. You just do more.
Because then it bleeds into editing season.
Yes.
But yeah, it can be really exhausting, and you can sort of, your personal life can take a little bit of a hit sometimes.
Totally.
You miss out on things. So I think, like, to recharge your batteries and like maintain your creativity, you have to like take a little break.
Yeah.
And get re-inspired.
Yes. And let those creative ideas wait till you can use them.
Come to you, and
Yeah. That's actually makes me feel very good, because I'm like, I need to be doing more.
I know. I feel that way all the time. But then we
burn out all year.
We would be exhausted 24/7.
This is true. I need to take this time and like get our youth back or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so good point. I'm gonna take that advice and do that. Next time I'm like, do more, Jill, and get hard on myself. And all of you should be doing that too. And you too.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, what are your predictions in terms of style for 2020? Wedding styles.
Yeah. Okay. This is fun to talk about.
I know. I love doing this.
Yeah. One. It's funny because, like, I don't even really know yet what 2019 is going to look like.
True.
But I feel like this past year, 2018, just like stylistically, we saw a lot of like moody jewel tones.
Major.
Which I loved. So
and works
much.
So well with your work.
Yeah, it's like so beautiful.
Yeah,
I really love that. I feel like it is sort of complementary to my style.
Very well said. Complementary to your style.
Yeah.
Not to say that other don't, but
yeah.
It just...
But I would say that my style is a little more like moody and contrasty. But yeah, I feel like we might see a departure from that. Maybe like more of a return to like sort of lighter, brighter palettes.
Interesting.
Some of the brides I've been interviewing have been talking about like really clean, crisp, fresh looks.
That is what everyone is saying.
Yeah.
Clean, like
white, simple, bright.
Everyone is saying that.
And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a change. I'm into it.
It's really fun to shoot that.
Yeah.
Because we can use lines and lighting.
Yeah.
Whereas like when there's a lot going on with color and shapes and all of this stuff, it can get to be a lot. Because you're like, this
busy.
It doesn't translate. Whereas like simplicity translates so well.
So I think it'll be kind of neat to see like where those like sort of trends move to.
Yeah.
I think greenery is still huge. People have like a total love to bring the outdoors in.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yeah.
And I hope that stays.
Me too.
Because any sort of greenery is just like so beautiful. Whether it's like evergreen or, fresh, sort of like more, not floral, but like summery greens.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Summer greens. Yeah, we're not florists. It's fine. We take the photos of the summer greens.
Yeah, and then I think, like I had mentioned to you right before we started, but I think not stylistically, but like just as far as trends go for like traditions, I feel like we're going to see a departure from a lot of sort of like the standard traditions into a more sort of like laid back wedding vibe.
Yeah.
And some of those traditions for me that I think have been slowly kind of fading and people have been phasing them out.
Yeah.
Are like the traditional like reception entrances.
Yep.
Bouquet tosses.
Gone. It's wild.
And like garters.
Yes.
What else?
Which we're like okay with. We're both.
I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's totally fine if you want to do that.
Totally.
That's cool. But even like first looks, like people wanting to stay traditional and seeing each other just for the first time down the aisle, that's becoming rare.
It is.
And people are wanting, because when you schedule a first look with someone, you get to enjoy more time together on the day.
Yes.
So, yeah, I feel like we're seeing a shift, and we'll continue to see a shift into like less of these like sort of staunch wedding traditions.
Yes, majorly.
And more into like making it about the love and making it just about the couple.
Which is really nice.
It is.
I do like that.
Yeah.
And I think like the whole kind of what's it called? Like the rise of elopements.
Oh, yes.
There are elopements happening. There
Yeah.
are photographers that are strictly dedicated to elopement.
I know.
It's so interesting.
It
so I
is.
think the rise of that, people are like, okay, well, I don't want a big wedding, like traditional staunchy, which you said. But they also can't do or don't want to do like an elopement.
Yeah.
They're kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Yeah, totally. And what else? I think like fall weddings are becoming insanely trendy.
Great. Like July is non-existent for weddings.
I have such a quiet June and July.
It's crazy.
It's kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But that's kind of great because then I can fill that time with engagement shoots and
which is when people want to do that.
Exactly.
They're like, what's your July like? I'm like, it's great. Let's do your engagement session.
But don't get married then because it's so hot.
It's so hot. We'll do 2 hours outside rather than 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so, I agree. Also, fall weddings are huge.
Yeah.
And
even
they are
into
beautiful.
November. I'm booked heavy into November. It's like wild.
It's so great though.
I like it.
I do. I love the fall weddings.
Me too.
It's just a nicer, I feel like I'm like, I won't sweat as much.
Yeah.
So I actually like feel better. Like I'm like, I look okay.
Yeah.
By the end of the day. Which, who cares what I look like?
Yeah,
but
no one's looking.
how you feel.
Yes.
You're like,
It's
I need to
true.
put a deodorant on for the 4th time today.
Or in
Or-
July.
Yeah.
And I am sweating like a puddle. And I have a sweat mustache that everyone's looking at.
Oh my gosh, so true.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I'm so excited for your year ahead.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy that you got to come on and chat.
Me too. I love you so much.
I love you so
and
much.
I'm so excited to have been on your amazing
Thank
honey
you.
podcast. I love it.
Thank you so much. We loved hearing all of your amazing tips. You gave us a lot of really great editing tips.
I hope.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everyone should be thanking you. And I hope that you'll come on again so we can have another chat.
I would love that. Yes. That would be wonderful.
I mean, I love your work, but I love watching you grow, and like us having this kind of back and forth is really nice to just chat about photography.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many things we could talk about like for the next 2 hours
Yes.
about just editing.
I know.
But
yeah.
We'll
but
do
we
something
can
else
explore
next time.
something else, something
Yeah.
fun next
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Yeah. Like maybe creative shoots or something.
Yes.
Who knows?
We'll just-
Endless
all
possibilities.
endless. Well, thank you so much, Tori.
Thank you for having
Where
me.
can people find you? That's what I want.
On Instagram.
What is your handle?
It is at T Photography.
TEA.
TEA.photography.
Photography.
Yes.
And online?
And online, yep. I've
At-
got my website is tphotography.ca.
Perfect.
Facebook.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good. Let's reach out to you
Fantastic.
and book all of the things.
All the things.
Yeah. Thank you again, Tori.
Thank you for having me.
You're the best.
I love you.
I love you. Okay, bye.
Bye.